Hello, hola hola! Welcome to Training for Trainers. You want to know what we learned in 14 weeks? Okay, but before that, key in your password first. Password OPENNESS. Openness, receiving and giving feedback. Now you are in. Nah, look at here. In the first week, we learned about you and human being. We have TNA, known as Training Needs Analysis. Before that, as a trainer, we need to know what is human being. Human beings love attention. Humans are full with emotions. So we need to be sensitive with our audience. Please keep the arguments and emotion low, okay? Be different to one another. Before this, we don't know what types of human being we are. But now we know. There are 4 types of human being. First one is controller, leader. Hey, listen to me. Second, followers. I just want to follow you. Third, promoter. Give me spotlight, please. I need attention. And fourth, analyzer. Next plan, please. After we learn these 4 types of human being, in our team, we complete each other. We have Wawa and Hadri as a controller, Syuhanis as a promoter, Izzat as analyzer, and Izzati, just follow what we want. She's a follower. Now, let me tell you how to win. Oh, but before that, in our class, we have rules that known as reflect. When someone said reflect, all of us must apply openness, acknowledge, fun, and understanding. As a trainer, we need to do this. BPRV. Huh? What is that? Let me tell you. B is for brainstorm. Brainstorm your idea. P is present. Present your idea and get feedback from others. R is repositioned. V is validation. So, the picture shows the activities that we are doing in class using BPRV. The previous pictures show we are trying to find out what is the difference between training and facilitation. By using BPRV, we finally find it out. Okay, let me tell you. Training is teaching in a bigger stage that targeting a huge audience, master expert, training using tools. And also we have subject matter expert, which is known as SME. And the SME or the trainer cannot solve problem because it deliver in a huge group. But for facilitation, it conducted in a small group, go to one by one, have a shaping process, go deeper understanding, targeting a specific person, no need slides or tools, no need subject matter expert, solve your problem because they come to help you. Okay, get back to TNA. We already know what is TNA. So, how to develop TNA? Here is the process. First, define your desired outcome. Involve subject matter expert SME. Assist training options. Finds a gap. Select training methods. Report training needs and recommend training plans. We are using the TNA process to deliver our message and content to the audience. As you can see in the pictures, we did it. Now we know how facilitation helps group. Can you see our beloved Sir Anwar in the picture? He briefed about what we should do in creating and delivering our content. The key learning that we get during these activities is skills, roles, effective groups, process training, and process development content. Oh, I love this part. In week 4, we are stuck in PKP because of COVID-19 pandemic. So everything goes online. But look at this picture. Sir Anwar collected all of his students' pictures to make sure we are with him. The key learning that we get is punctuality, communication, teamwork, and respond. It is because we have to collect all the pictures in a time given. Previously, we deliver speech, but people don't want to listen. Oh, but now we know the solution. What we need to do is how to be heard? First, personality, communication skill, communication between sender and receiver, nervousness. Everyone have anxiety. It is normal. The tips is write what are going to happen before presentation. Language, know how to deliver the message. Language is not a barrier. Audience, know your audience first. Anxiety, revisit your attention. Authentic and original, create your own authentic and originality. Additional tips from our beloved Sir Anwar. How to make sure you are not losing focus is by do not get full of yourself. Divide your content. Relate your point if there are any questions during the presentation. Bring back your story that related with your audience.
Hello, my name is Syuhanis and I am going to tell you what happened on week 5 in Trainings for Trainers. That week as expected, we are going to learn diagnosing behavior in group. And before the class started, before our lecturer get into the topic, we actually got a surprise task from our lecturer. What we are needed to do was we need to choose our dad or our mom to ask, what do you feel when you were expecting me? So that was our activity of the day. You can vary your questions by asking, how do you feel by having me on the first day? Or what was your feeling? Or even how people accept me, how people accept the idea that I was on the way. So then we got specific time to finish our task. And after that, we need to tell the stories. We can volunteer to tell the stories to the class in Google Meet. Therefore, I went to my father and asked, Ayah, what do you feel when you were expecting me? He answered, of course, happy. And I was like, okay, and then? He said that he was very, very happy because it is pretty unexpected. And he has been trying for not a long time, but it is pretty long for them because they have been wanting to have someone for my sister to play with. And then I asked, how old was she? He said she was only 1 year and a half. And I was like, okay. And then he continued. He actually did not tell people that they were expecting me because they don't want to get extra excited about it, and they want to be sure before telling people that they are expecting me. Only after 1 month, they went back to their hometown and tell their parents and everyone there. My relatives, even my cousin that time. And Alhamdulillah, they were also happy and wished the best for my mom's pregnancy. And so I got the answer. And therefore, you need to know how to control the situations. This is one of the key learning that I learned that day. I need to know that what question that I can ask after another, what outcome that we can get from this, how I need to control my emotions or even my dad's emotions, and so on. Alright, and then we go back to Google Meet, and people share their stories about how they cried even before asking the questions to their parent, or how they shared that they actually have been asking these types of questions a lot to their parents, and what's new that they got, what the new answers that they got. It is pretty exciting and it's nice to hear from other people, you know? So, other key learnings that I can somehow collect from this lesson or task is time management. Other people do not have enough time to ask, probably because they have other problems. You know how the L works. But our lecturer specifically gave our time to ask, but it is only for 30 minutes. So we need to manage that time properly. In trainings also, I can confirm that to you that time management is key. You need to be on time. Next is you need to manage and control the emotions. You need to understand how they feel, why they feel that way, and what can you do to help or manage them with their emotions. It is the same as the perception. You need to know why they feel that way. Next is fear. You need to know how to control it. If you don't know, then you need to learn. Because you're working with other people and other people's emotions. And like always, communication is always the key. So you need to know how to start to ask the questions, how to set the mood, and so on. Next is we go back to 5W1H. So you can ask questions like, where were you when you received the news? Or how do you handle it? When did you know that you were expecting me? And so on. So you can elaborate more by using 5W1H. Alright, so what can we diagnose in diagnosing behavior in group? So, first, you engage and go deeper. So you ask questions one by one, and one leads to another. And you want to know why, so you go deeper. You want to know how they feel, you go deeper. You ask more questions about it. And then, by diagnosing them, you will know if they are a controller, follower, analyzer, or promoter. My good friend of mine actually will explain more about these 4 types. I'm sure she had just now. If they suddenly feel protective, you can diagnose that they are a controller. Or if you ask, who actually gave your name? Your mom or dad? For example, your mom wants to give you the name. So your dad just follows. So you can see that this where your mom is a controller and your dad is actually a follower. But it depends on some certain context. So last but not least, this is pretty out of context of family, but specialist service uses in-depth interview to ask questions and to diagnose anything in groups. Alright, now I would like to share with you what are your skills in diagnosing behavior. These skills that you need to have or will have for your future needs in diagnosing behavior. So first, you need to be sensitive. You need to have sixth sense in a way. So you need to have sight, be sensitive on what you see, sound, touch, smell, taste. So you need to really get into that mood, and you need to know, you need to discover everything. You need to be specific, be sensitive about it. So next is managing the conflict and managing the communication roadblocks. Whatever conflicts that you may face, you need to face it properly. You need to know how to handle it. Next is empathy. You need to know what they are feeling, and you need to understand whatever they are feeling. Put yourself in their shoes to know exactly, to understand why they are feeling that way. And last but not least, get to know your EI. EI means emotional intelligence, and it is very important to have EI to understand how they feel and what they are feeling, so you can make the communication better. Overall, I learned a lot on this topic and this week in managing conflicts and basically more emotions. So you need to ask questions that are suitable, and you need to be prepared on whatever that is that will happen. So that is all for my share in diagnosing behavior in group for week 5. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi, my name is Izzati, and I am going to give you a quick tour on what we were doing on week 7. On this week, we learned on laying the groundwork. Now this, how you ground your audience, is very important for the training. Let's see the 4 dimensions to help you laying the ground. The first dimension is training needs analysis, or TNA. Why do you need TNA? It is because you need to know what you want to do, and you need to define your target audience. How to do the TNA? A simple evaluation would do the work. You just need to know your audience better and where their knowledge are before the training. Example, an entrance survey. Now, training objectives is the second dimension. Training objective is basically what you want to achieve from your training. Why do you conduct the training? But remember, the TNA must be related to these training objectives. Moving on to the next dimension, which is training delivery. To deliver your training, you need to know your content and your activities. The training delivery is depending on what your objectives are. Therefore, if you have 3 objectives, then you need to have 3 activities. The fourth and last dimension is training evaluation. Why do you need training evaluation? Simple. Everyone is not perfect. So this training evaluation will help you to know what do you need to improve in your future training session. And to do that, you also need to redesign the structure and your content of your training module. Now that is the 4 dimensions to help you lay the ground.
Hi, my name is Mohamed Hadri Iman. So, my topic is about facilitative skill. So, before I start to jump and tell a little bit more about what is facilitative skill, I would like to show to you a few video about my experience in facilitative world as the facilitator and also as the facilitator leader. So, what facilitator is all about? Basically, facilitator is creating and facilitating the content. They also managing the content and help the training process much easier. For example, I as the trainer and you are the facilitator. You are joining me in one training session and then I will giving the task to our participant and then we are going to make a small group. Inside each every group there will be one or two facilitator and your job is to understand help facilitate them and make their understanding level much better because sometimes what trainer try to deliver is so much bigger for them to absorb. So your job is to make the process become much easier. So what is facilitator coach? Basically, facilitator coach is someone that is guiding you or guiding the facilitator to facilitate others effectively. For example, executive manager. And then you must know that you are the coach that are coaching others to coach people. For example, I am the facilitator. I'm a beginner facilitator and try to give out my knowledge to others people. But before I do that, I need to get my personal coach to to teach me how to facilitate others effectively. So you are the facilitator coach. I'm reaching you and then I will try to ask you as many more questions and you will teach me from step 1 to step 10, which is the hardest stuff for me to become the facilitator much better and facilitate others effectively. Others example, we can see that inside the sport stuff, there will be a personal coach to help to help the head coach and so on. So that's for facility. And then how about facilitator consultant? Let me think. Facilitator consultant is basically someone that has a depth and breadth expertise in a specific topical area. They also sometimes who runs the consultant and company. And also sometimes they are consulting proposed idea. But for a better image, facilitator consultant is someone that we can see, for example, I have one company, a training company, and then you are coming to my company because you want to do one training or one facilitating stuff that your staff is not expert about it. So you come to me, I will consult with you, I will run the consultation, I will tell you what you need and what you have to do. And then maybe I will give you one facilitator or one trainer to run the process or the training. Now is the time for the facilitator trainer. As you see earlier in this topic, I have shown you about my personal training process that I have done. So what are facilitator trainer do? They are basically conducting the training and be the trainer. They are the expert in the field of training. Example, lecturer and also like me, motivational speaker. So I need to run my training process as a leader. So I become the head of the project. I'm conducting a module or maybe I take the module from the other trainer and then I run the training. You must know the facilitated trainer is the one who run the training. Okay? Last but not least, the facilitator leader. So, in our university life, we also have our facilitator leader. For example, the student representative council, or in Malay we call it as Majlis Perwakilan Pelajar. So what they do actually, they work as a leader and using the facilitator skill to help and solve the problem. The leader is the facilitate and not an order giver. Sounds easy or not? Alright, I would like to explain further about it. So basically, they are the one who becoming the leader in one organization or in the department. And then if there is one problem or like that, they will try to solve it using the facilitator skill and not just giving the order. They will help the staff, they will facilitate the staff and giving the solution for that problem. Sounds nice, right? So that's all from me from the facilitative skill topic. Thank you.
On week 9, we embarked on a new adventure in our quest to become the best trainers that we can be. On this particular week, we were briefed on our individual assignments. For this course, we were tasked to plan and organize an online training session, which we will then proceed to host on our chosen time and day. I won't lie, the first time I heard about this assignment, I was extremely nervous and anxious. I was very unsure of myself, but throughout the previous 8 weeks, Sir Anwar has given us a lot of tips and assurances of our abilities to successfully run this training session. These have been covered previously, so let's check out the key learnings that we have gathered from this particular session. So, this is the first key learning we've obtained. As they always say, first impressions are the most important, right? This is what we found out when Sir Anwar mentioned about our training title. The title has to be short and catchy. Make it easily memorable for the audience. I mean, let's be real here. Nobody wants to go to a training where the title is like 100-step plan to success. Trust me, this really works because I'm speaking from personal experience. Okay, guys, you just have to trust me on this, please. Keep it simple, keep it concise, keep it real to the training on hand. Don't make your training about those 100 steps to success, but the actual content has like, what, half of the steps? What's wrong with you, man? I mean, seriously. Anyways, what's next? Well, we also learned that the title has to arouse the interest of your potential audience. Make it something that's just mysterious enough to grab their attention, while simultaneously giving them just enough information to make them go, oh crap, that sounds cool. When's it going live, my guy? You get that response, then you're already on the right tracks. Moving on to the next key learning, we've got the training analysis. Most commonly done by doing a training needs analysis or TNA, Sir Anwar really stresses this importance on all of us. Not gonna lie, most of us screwed up here because we all took a sweet time actually doing the step. In one of the future sessions, he actually, rightfully so, went to town on us as we have failed to properly conduct this TNA. So, yeah. Tangent aside, what did we actually learn here? Well, we learned that doing TNA is a vital part of pre-planning a training session. By conducting a TNA, we can know for sure exactly what our audience/clients need exactly and plan our training to meet those exact needs. Every company, every person, they require a specific set of training delivered in a specific manner in order to get them to go, aha, I understand this now. A TNA can measure their pre-existing knowledge on the topic of your particular training. Like, for instance, in my own training, I did one about how to get into character when you're about to go acting. My TNA consists of a Google form, pretty much like everyone else really, that asks them questions like if they have ever attended an online training session before and if they've ever felt nervous before performing. Their responses afterwards, they became my primary guiding force in designing my session to be easily understood by all those involved. Does it make sense? Of course it does. Carry on. Yes, training platform. Many of young, impressionistic trainers' worst enemy. Whether it be poor internet connection or a lack of understanding on how to organize an online session, this part right here really does suck for a lot of us. You know, it's funny how most of us really are familiar with technology until the day comes when we actually have to be productive with it. We become total cavemen. I don't know, I just find it adorable itself. Pardon the sidetrack. So, training platform, what do we have here? Well, Sir Anwar mentioned in one of his key learnings the importance of choosing the right platform for our training. What he meant by it, and what we've interpreted it as, is to choose the platform we are most familiar with and not the most popular one. Since we have to record the session and submit it as proof that we have ran the session, it is vitally important to choose a platform that you can work with. I mean, my God, can you imagine? You plan out your session flawlessly, you got your audiences on standby, you're raring to go, only for the effing platform to suddenly not work? You panic, you cry, you tell Sir Anwar of your problem, he says sorry. Rules are rules, and then BAM! You're repeating the course again next semester? Can never be me, bro. Mine worked just fine. What other key learning have you got from this section of the session? Set a time that makes sense, convenient, and easily accessible for you and not your audience. You are in charge of your training, not your audience. They have to be on your time and not the other way around. We are not their servants. We're not their slaves. They come to us for our training, not that we come to them to offer our training. Drill that into your head. Set the length of the training, say where it will be held, keep on time, go in, deliver your training, go out within the time span set beforehand. Be professional and respectful of others' time. The world doesn't revolve around you. There's a life lesson for ya. So, hey, congratulations! You successfully picked out a catchy title, ran a successful TNA, and picked out a reliable platform for your session! Hey, congratulations! Now, what next? You gotta create some posters, invitation cards, whatever else you can think of, and invite potential audiences into your session. That's right, boys. It's time to talk about the next key learning, training invitation. I guess it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Design an attractive poster for your training. And by attractive, I don't mean stuffing it full with useless fluff that nobody's gonna read and only serves to make it seem like you know what you're doing, when in fact you don't know what you're doing. Okay? Now, I'm a person that appreciates something that can say a lot by saying little. So my own philosophy is to communicate what I want visually. By following this philosophy, I prefer to keep my posters relatively simple and only include all of the most important details only. The name of the training, the platform, the date and time, and my contact information. That's it. The purpose of the training, I let the visuals of the poster or invitation card do the talking. I always find it much more appealing when I have to figure out stuff on my own rather than when someone else spoon feeds me everything until I vomit them out. Yeah, it's not a nice imagery, but that's what I got and I can't think of another metaphor to describe the feeling, so sorry. Anyway, next key learning. We're gonna talk about training objectives. The key learning here? Be realistic with your objectives. It's all fine and good trying to aim high, but balance it out with realistic expectations. Set your objectives to be clear and reachable. And whatever your plan is, stick to the objectives. Stick to the plan, and your training will most likely succeed. And even if it doesn't, well, at least you stuck to the plan, right? Do better next time. Okay? Don't disappoint yourself like this. Don't embarrass yourself. We're gonna move on to the next key learning. Here, we have training activities as number 7. What does it mean? Training activities. It is exactly what it sounds like. What we plan to do during the training session, anything that we do in it is a training activity. Right from the introduction until everyone says goodbye, thank you for the training. So, what are some key learnings that we have learned here? First things first, what we have learned is to make sure the activities are fun and informative for our audience. This can promote a calm and relaxed atmosphere and put everyone at ease. As first-time trainers, most of us are anyways, it's natural to feel nervous and anxious. What we've learned is that by planning activities that are fun in nature, everyone in the session can be at ease and release the tension in the air. Nobody wants to be somewhere with a dead atmosphere and feel awkward for just being there. I mean, can you imagine being in an awkward situation? Now, imagine being in the same situation and having others in the same situation as you. The awkwardness, my God! It's on a whole other level. To avoid this, plan your activities accordingly and try to involve everyone if possible. The second to final key learning is training assessment. This is the part where you test your participants of their understanding of the training. This is the part where you make sure that your training has an effect on your audience. This goes hand in hand with your training activities. Therefore, one of the best ways to assess your audience is to engage with them with activities related to your training. Like, for my acting training, I ask my participants to act out a monologue in front of the other participants. This provides the perfect opportunity for us trainers to directly interact with our audience and recap our lessons for them. After all is said and done, there's one final thing that we have to do: training evaluations. Think of it as the reverse of training assessment. This is where it's our participants' turn to rate and assess our training. As young instructional trainers, Sir Anwar has emphasized the importance of being open and honest with ourselves so that we may be open and honest with others. Therefore, it is possible that our training hasn't lived up to expectations, and if it doesn't, we must take note of their criticism. Be open so that we may learn from our mistakes and improve upon them. Thank your audience for their time and their energy, and plan ahead for your next training session. What may fail today is only the building blocks for our success in the future. On that note, that concludes our group presentation. Thank you so much for your time and energy in watching this humble video of ours. Wherever you are, please do stay safe and have a wonderful day.
This is our last online class together in Google Meet. Sir Anwar teach us, before we conduct our training, we need to have energizer. it is to warm up before start our training. But before that, you need to know your target audience. Make sure it is suited with your training and know the mood. Look at the picture. We are singing in Sir Anwar class. Yes, it is part of Energizer activities and we love it.